You can trade for it. Just win, baby.
The Onside Zone.
You're not Aladdin rubbing the lamp, and then Will Smith comes out and you ask him, hey, fix our dolphin problems. And there he goes. No, I'm sorry. It'd be nice if it was that easy, but it's not.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right.
For the Bucks, after being eliminated by the Heat, they sweep Miami. First time an Eric Spoelstra team has been swept in the playoffs. And Giannis Antetokounmpo with a triple-double. Bryn Forbes was special today as well. 22 points and 7 made threes. And the Milwaukee Bucks are moving on. The first team to advance. They will await the winner of the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything that would discredit, what the Bucks did to us. But, there is a human side to this. There's no way to know one way or another other than just, how guys that had been through that experience last year and then in the bubble and then were part of this quick turnaround. You could see that, going into the season, the tank wasn't, necessarily full. But I think our guys really approached it, in a great way, not making an excuse for it, to handle that adversity when we were really struggling early on. I think those moments really, helped us grow, and we were playing our best basketball, at the end of the season. Usually that, would give you a better launching pad in the playoffs. I thought we all felt great about it until we, faced these guys.
Oh, the eulogy. The organ is grinding. The season is dead. It's over. The Heat are just a bunch of stiffs out. Although we got to say this, listen. On a day where we must be grateful for all the men and women, people like Sean who served, like my dad, rest in peace, those who gave their lives, those who sacrificed so much so we can enjoy the freedoms that we just, every single day maybe take for granted. And let's not also take for granted that the Miami Heat had another season where it was a winning season and they made it to the playoffs. And I know that may not be enough. That's not the solace you're looking for. That's not the satisfaction, especially after the bubble run last year to the finals. And it's a sad ending. And I'm sorry to hear them go. I'm sad to see them go. Not surprised. I was surprised at a sweep. I wasn't surprised with a first-round exit because I kind of had them as a first-round exit anyway. So, I'd be a liar if I told you, oh, I'm shocked that they're out in the first. I'm not. I didn't expect much from this team. And it's sad, but I will tell you this. There are positives out of all of this. And for those of you out there that you were hanging on and going, I want him to, because I got this a lot on Twitter. I want him to win one more game. I want him to avoid the sweep. Dude, 4-0, 4-1, who gives a rat's ass? It's all the same thing. In fact, the best thing was end it right there and then. You know why? You extend it to a fifth game, you risk Jimmy Butler getting injured. You risk Bam Adebayo getting injured. And if you plan on trading Tyler or anybody else, what if they blow out a knee at that point? And then how do you trade them? So, you know what? Just end the season, old Yeller style. Put them out, put them down. It's over. Those of you that are really young, did you understand old Yeller reference there, Mr. Alex Aguirre?
That's a Disney movie, right?
That's right.
About a dog, the retriever, I think, golden retriever.
He had rabies, and back in those days, you just got to put his ass down. So they put him down, and it was really sad.
Yeah, I know about old Yeller. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Damn. a cultured kid.
I mean,
like
it's Disney. It's so like it had its own.
But I didn't know that kids nowadays, or even people your age, young men in their 20s, even were able to watch. I would figure it's too old for you to watch it.
Well, growing up, like my family had a huge collection of like the old VHS Disney movies. So like the animated ones, even like the human ones as well, like Old Yeller, the old Herbie movies as well.
Gotcha.
So like it was just one of those like specific things that my family had, like a big collection of VHS Disney movies.
Okay, all right, I got you now. Okay, all right, so there you go. But listen, it's the best thing that happened was to put them out of their misery. That to me is what makes all the sense in the world at this point in time for the Miami Heat, because you save yourself from injuries. And to me, that's the most important part for Miami, because if you injure players that you need to trade, that doesn't help. If you injure some of the guys you want to keep, that doesn't help. End it already. Let's go. Let's move on. And that's what's going to happen now. And now you've got to move on. And listen, this is a team that needs to be retooled. And the Miami Heat have had, unfortunately, and I talked about this last week. I think I mentioned it on Friday. I've mentioned it in the past, in the last couple of weeks. The Miami Heat, unfortunately, as of late, and I heard Ira talk a little bit about it, that they've been a little too nostalgic. And I've mentioned 31-10. And that's been very unheat-like, very un-Riley-like. You had a bunch of journeymen go 31-10. And you know what? You can get fooled. I can get fooled. They can't be fooled. That can't happen. Okay? I'm supposed to make mistakes. I'm supposed to be wrong. You're supposed to be wrong, because we're human beings. And we don't get paid to do this for a living. Okay? You're just a fan. I'm just a big mouth media member behind a mic. We're not the pros. So when we get things wrong, it's normal for us to get things wrong, right? Last year, I thought the same thing of the Heat team this year. I thought they were first-round exit, and they got to the finals and shocked me. But 31-10 was something that freaked us all out, because it's like James Johnson and all these guys. Are you kidding me? With Whiteside and they go 31-10, and then what happens? Pat Riley gives them all contracts. Tyler Johnson signs a ridiculous contract because apparently the owner fell in love with Tyler Johnson, didn't want the Nets to take him, so they matched that stupid-ass offer. They gave James Johnson, a journeyman that's been in the league forever, a contract that he would never, ever get in his lifetime, and now will live a great life thanks to that contract. God bless him. You gave Dion Waiters, on 31 good games played in his entire career up until that point, you gave him a 4-year extension when he needed surgery. I mean, the stuff they did was mind-boggling. Now, if you do that and you're the GM, or if I do that and I'm the GM, hey, who the hell put a fan or a media member in charge? We're supposed to be idiots and do that. How can that happen to Pat Riley in the front office? And then they were stuck with those contracts until the back end of those deals, that they were able to start to unload those kind of guys and get rid of them and move on. So now you end up running the table to the bubble, and you had opportunities to make trades. And look, I got the James Harden thing over the weekend. Stop with the James Harden thing. The Nets gave up 3 first-rounders and 4 other first-rounders for swaps. Miami didn't have that kind of ammo. So I don't even know if they could have acquired Harden. But if they could, they would have to give up about 7 players in the process. So if you're going to give up the 7 players, you're not going to have much left. Harden wasn't going to help you out defensively in this game. I'm sorry. It would have been a disaster. Either way, you would have lost, and you would have been out, and you're over. This is a team that needs to be completely retooled. It's not good enough. And you cannot have this many guards who cannot play defense on the perimeter. We've talked about this already. Okay? You cannot have Duncan. You cannot have, Tyler, Goran Dragic, and who else am I missing there? Oh, and Kendrick Nunn. 4 guys that cannot play defense. 4 guys that cannot make stops. On their best days, they're possibly getting in the way of somebody. That's their best day right there, that they can stand in front of somebody, but that they're actually going to physically stop somebody and force them to get rid of the basketball or get a turnover. That's not going to happen. Or block a shot or whatever it is, or alter a shot or whatever, or get them off balance. They're not going to do any of that. Okay? Maybe they can grow into being decent team defenders. And they're still not decent team defenders. So, I don't give a rat's ass what stats tell you, because some people tell you this, that. And the other thing is, I love when people are saying, oh, well, down the stretch, they found their groove and they were playing their best basketball. Down the stretch, are you kidding me? If you look at what the Heat did down the stretch, what teams were you beating? Think about that. That's the key there. What teams were you beating down the stretch that it made it seem like you had your groove? You were beating crap. Okay? Knicks, Indiana, Golden State. All right, here we go. Cleveland, Memphis, Lakers, Portland, Phoenix, Denver. And then it starts with Minnesota, Brooklyn, Houston, San Antonio, Atlanta, Chicago, San Antonio, Cleveland, Charlotte, Dallas, Minnesota, Boston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Detroit. You had a couple good teams in there, but you had a lot of crap. So you were able to pile up wins. Weak-minded Boston, Detroit, Charlotte isn't anything out of this world. Cleveland, San Antonio, please give me a break. At the bottom end of the Western Conference, Chicago twice. I mean, you start to look at that schedule. Minnesota. It's just you piled on wins against really bad teams, and then when you played Phoenix, Denver, you lost. So this was, you go on a stretch, on a 5-game stretch where you beat New Orleans, Orlando, Chicago, and Cleveland. I mean, it wasn't impressive. And so you weren't necessarily this amazing team going down the stretch and playing great basketball. No, man. You packed on a couple wins against really bad teams. And you were a little over 500. Big freaking deal. You end up with the 6th spot when it's all said and done. And look, we could talk about, some teams had several months off, and then other teams had a couple of months off, like the Lakers and the Heat. You had 4 months off between the 2 parts of that season. So you were well rested for the bubble run. It wasn't like you had an 82-game schedule on you when you were done with the end of the season. No. You only played a couple of regular season games and then the playoffs. That's it. After having 4 months off. So what? Listen, you're a conditioned athlete. You need to play. It's not an excuse. I'm not giving you any breaks on that. You had 4 months off before you got into the bubble. So this that you played and you only had a couple months off and other teams had 8 months. I don't care, man. Can you play? Are you balling? Then you get it done. You find a way to get it done. You dig deep inside and find a way. And it had nothing to do with energy. It had nothing to do with the fact that some teams had more months off than others. Give me a break, dude. That may be a detriment for some teams that they didn't play that long. So Miami they played with the same rules as everybody else. They weren't good enough. That's the bottom line. They weren't good enough. And now you've got to find a way to retool the team, and yet this is a terrible offseason because there aren't a lot of real big free agents. And that's the other thing. How do you retool this team? How do you rebuild, and how do you avoid mistakes? I'm going to tell you that when we come back on the other side. All right, let's take a quick break. 888-441-4623 if you want to get in on the phone lines. The text line, 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Omar Kelly will join us at 12:30. We'll talk a little football with him. Alan Poupar will stop by 1:30 from SI. More football with him. Plenty more to talk about. Back with more right here on Onside Radio and the Onside Zone.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Howdy, stranger.
Didn't this used to be Radio Town?
Yes, sir. It was Miami Sports Radio Town one time.
Who in the hell are these cowboys I never saw?
We don't know who these people are, riding in from other towns. There used to be a host in every one of these saloons, trying to talk about local matters, sports.
That ain't good, stranger. Could you tell me how this happened?
Well, it started when one corporation bought another, and they got rid of the good management and brought in a bunch of bumbling idiots and started firing all the local ranchers and replacing them one by one with these strangers from out of town.
I've heard that story before. Static and tumbleweeds, I'm moving on.
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
This Inter Miami CF Minute is brought to you by Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world and a great place to watch Inter Miami CF. Stout features Clonakilty whiskeys, the world's best Irish whiskey.
Inter Miami had their first ever sellout crowd at Drive Pink Stadium while operating under full capacity, but the fans weren't enough to put on an inspiring performance against DC United. A 3-0 defeat showed a lot of good talent from DC United, but quite the opposite from Inter Miami as they struggled defensively with Phil Neville's 3-5-2 formation at the back. The defense seemed sloppy. It didn't seem like they were organized and ready to try out a formation like that, and he switched very quickly to a 4-2-3-1 after conceding the second goal, but nothing was enough to come back from the deficit, and the game ended 3-0.
Keep up with the latest on La Rosa Negra by subscribing on most platforms. Search Onside Radio.
Just some missed shots here and there. I think they did a great job. I think you kind of just leave it at that. But my game's never been about just scoring. It's about everything else. Getting stops, getting everybody else involved. Scoring was a little bit low, but it's part of it. We were a completely different team last year with different guys with different skill sets. But you go to war with any and everybody that you have, and you hope for the best because you go out there and you can compete. But yeah, we can be better. We'll get better. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to play with all the guys that I played with this year. I said thank you to each and every one of them just for being in the trenches and competing with me and for me. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
There you go. That's Jimmy Butler. And speaking of Jimmy Butler, okay, so I told you in the last segment, Miami has been fooled with things that have happened in the past. 31-10, bubble run, all of that. The bubble run clearly was a fluke. Even though they had a shot at the title, it was a fluke thing, situation, all that. Everything fell into place. If Bam and Goran stay healthy, they got a shot against the Lakers. I got to admit that. But what wasn't realistic was to think that you could do that again in a regular season where you're traveling and all that stuff. When you saw plenty of, examples before the bubble run that they were just barely over 500. I believe it was 17 and 15, the stretch between the first 2 months in the bubble. And so the question is, what do you do now? And if you listen to Inside the Paint, which is the best basketball show in town with Ira Winderman and Ethan Skolnick here, obviously exclusively right here on OnsideRadio.com. You won't hear him on any sorry-ass radio station that's out there here in South Florida. You only hear him here on Onside Radio. And Miami can't get fooled again. These guys were talking about how you reluctantly got to give Jimmy Butler a 4-year, $181 million deal. Are you effing kidding me? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? His body's breaking down before your eyes. Look, when they signed Jimmy Butler, I said, well, I don't think they'll get another star to play with them. So far, they haven't been able to. I didn't think Jimmy was that good that he could recruit another superstar to come, and they haven't been able to do that. Riley hasn't been able to get it. And I said this when they signed Jimmy Butler. Anybody that's been following my show knows exactly what I said. I said, if you don't find that superstar in the first 2 years of this deal, the back end of this deal is not going to be very good. And what are you going to do? You're going to pile on more years? Are you out of your mind? That is pure desperation and irresponsible if the Miami Heat signed Jimmy Butler to any extension. Listen to me. To any extension. I would allow Jimmy Butler to play out the final 2 years and say, thank you for the memories. Appreciate everything you did. We got to move on. We got to turn the page. If you hang on to that guy at that salary and limit yourself from using that salary on future stars, then you're out of your mind, dude. Then you're setting yourself up to fail. What was it? RC in the 305 put, I can tell you firsthand that Bam wasn't and isn't a max player. Fam, and signing him to that year early made no sense. Well, you got to sign him to a year early because that's kind of the way it is. But the bottom line is he didn't play. RC in the 305 is right. He didn't play like a max player. Sorry. And Jimmy's not a max player either. Jimmy's a max player on this team because you don't have one. But in this league, dude, if you can't shoot, you can't be a max player. I'm sorry. You have to be, I don't even know. Who's the max player for sure in this league that can, well, maybe Rudy Gobert. Okay, that you're so game-changing, game-altering on defense that they can deal with that. Is there another max player that can't shoot in the NBA that you can think of right off the top of your head there?
Did LaMarcus? I know he's retired now.
No. I'm talking
Aldridge,
about like right now. Right now.
Okay.
Right now. Somebody right now.
Embiid? I know he shoots.
No,
the
he
three.
can shoot. He can shoot, dude.
Right, he can shoot pretty well for a big man, but he
yeah.
doesn't shoot in volumes as like a guard or a wing player. But yeah, I get it.
No, he can shoot, dude. He's a big man that shoots the three. Bam does not shoot the three. This guy shoots the three, and shoots it at a good clip. I'm pretty sure of that.
No, it is.
I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure Embiid hits his shots on his three-pointers on a pretty good clip. Let's see, 3-point percentage, Joel Embiid. Dude, it's...
Did DeMar DeRozan ever get the max contract?
Well, in the postseason, he's shooting it at 54%, bro. Okay, postseason. Regular season, 37.7. So that's a good clip. All right. Who'd you say?
Did DeMar DeRozan ever get a max contract?
No, but he's not. Yeah, and he's not a max player either, right?
Right, but I'm saying like in terms of shooting threes, he's an old school player.
He might have got. He and Lowry might have been max years ago, not anymore.
Right.
I'm talking about like right now. Somebody is maxed out that isn't a shooter anymore. That isn't a shooter at all. The only guy I came up with right now off the top of my head is Rudy Gobert. That's it. That's the only guy that I can understand why you pay him the max, because he's incredible. So the Miami Heat are settling. They're settling for Jimmy Butler as your number one. You're settling to give Bam the max unless Bam goes out and I forgot who it was. I think it was Ira that said it. He needs to go shoot 1,000 threes a day, starting like today. I'm with him on that. Bam needs to pick up his game to another level if they're going to get anywhere, because they're not going to get that superstar this year. So now if you're locked into that Jimmy contract and the Bam contract, what are you going to do? Add 4 more years of Jimmy? Didn't you just get proven that these two guys as your number ones and number twos aren't good enough? I'm sorry, but this is not LeBron and Wade. This is not Shaq and Wade. It's just not. It's not even Bosch. So if you're not doing what you had in the past, so now you're lowering the bar on what is a superstar player. Neither one of these guys is Alonzo Mourning. They're not. So what are you going to do? So you're going to give Jimmy Butler a 4-year contract at $181 million? Why? Because you're afraid that he might be, a petulant child over the next 2 years? Well, so be it, man. Move on. The Heat has got to make some tough decisions now. Okay? Kendrick Nunn, hey, I've seen enough of you, dude. You're way too inconsistent. You cannot be relied on. Tyler, you're on double secret probation, dude. You either pick up your game or get the hell out or trade him now. Duncan Robinson, I'm not giving you $20 million, man. I know you can shoot, but again, are you going to settle? Or are you better off staying like what I said when they signed those guys after 31-10? I was not for the James Johnson contract. I was not for the Tyler Johnson contract. I was not for giving Whiteside $100 million. I understood because they were banking on the potential. But I was never for the Dion Waiters contract. And then you locked yourself in there and you didn't stay liquid. Aren't you better off just staying liquid? Aren't you better off just finding players that if you can't find the stars or the guys you need, then get a journeyman for a year or two that you can stay liquid and move on from him? I'd rather you do that and set your team up for a 2010-like run that you went after the stars because you saved the cap space. So play Bam and everybody else, and Jimmy can hang out for the next 2 years and play, and then after that, you need to move on. Re-signing Jimmy Butler makes 0 sense because the amount of money you're paying him, the amount of cap space he takes up makes no sense whatsoever. All right, let's take a break. Omar Kelly's going to join us next. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little football, baby. We'll talk Dolphins and a little NFL with Omar next.
Now streaming online. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction for over 16 years. A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com. Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dano, you missed.
I think we need to normalize the nickname Dick again. There used to be a lot of dicks. Now, people think about the male anatomy. I don't know why we can't use Dick as a nickname. There was something the strong, silent type would have the name Dick. Yeah, sure, it was a nickname for Richard, but Richards now will just go by Rich or Richard. Like, nobody goes by Dick anymore. I think we need to normalize Dick.
Man of the Match with Alex Dano from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Happy Memorial Day, Onside Radio family. Unfortunately, it was not a good Memorial Day weekend for South Florida sports as the Miami Heat were eliminated from the NBA playoffs on Saturday after a 120-103 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Inter Miami CF lost 3-0 in front of a full-capacity Drive Pink Stadium on Saturday night. They are off until June 19th, where they will travel to play DC United. And the Marlins game was postponed yesterday in Boston. They are off today and will head to take on the Toronto Blue Jays in their home away from home in Buffalo. You're listening to the only locally owned South Florida sports talk station, OnsideRadio.com. And coming up, it's more of the Onside Zone with the Big O right here at OnsideRadio.com.
Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Sean Stanley hosts the Square Circle Digest.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here. I'm the man.
Now, wrestling fans have a place to call home as Sean covers the very colorful world of wrestling. Tune in every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on the home for sports fans worldwide. OnsideRadio.com.
Hello, Inter Miami CF fans. Download the Drink AR app and play inside a first-of-its-kind virtual soccer stadium, hosted by Bodega Trevento and Inter Miami CF, and celebrate your passion for soccer from the comfort of your own home. Find the download links on our Instagram account at Treventus and get our wines delivered straight to your home with a discount for all Inter Miami CF fans. Discover Trevento, a shared passion.
Onside Radio continues to grow. To make your life easier, you can now find your favorite sports station by downloading the MyTuner Radio app and listen to your favorite OnsideRadio.com host or catch a great Inter Miami CF match. Go to your app store, download MyTuner Radio, and search Onside Radio, the home for the South Florida sports fan. Brace yourself. You might not hear what you want. You can always expect Omar to keep it real. Whether you like it or not, it's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sun Sentinel writer Omar Kelly. EJD is your one-stop shop, custom home builder, and general contractor for residential construction. Call them 305-433-4843. Find them on Facebook at EJD Construction. Here's Omar Kelly with your Miami Dolphins report segment.
I don't think you can talk about Jalen and Will without the entire group of receivers. You know, I think you look at all of our guys that we have a variety. You know, we have guys that can make, you know, catches in double coverage, guys that can, you know, catch the ball on a swing route and make a man miss. You know, guys that can just flat out, you know, outrun guys. You know, and you just got to throw it to them, get it to them. But, you know, I'm very excited to see what we have when it is time to go full speed. But, you know, to your question, you can't, you know, kind of talk about, you know, one or the other without the entirety of the group.
I got to tell you something. I am one that I am so psyched about this Dolphin offense. Having Waddle on one side, having Fuller on the other, the speed of those guys, or if you want to put Waddle, which I'm sure he'll be in the slot, and then having the potential of obviously Parker, Preston on the outside, and then working those two tight ends. I just really love the way things are shaping up and the potential that this offense has to really move the ball and score some points this year. Let's bring Omar Kelly aboard. Of course, it is, yes, sir, the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. And, of course, follow them at EJDconstruction.com and follow my man Omar Kelly on Twitter at Omar Kelly. Omar, happy Memorial Day, my friend. Thank you for stopping by.
Always a pleasure, Big O. How is your Memorial Day going? You putting anything on the grill?
No, nothing on the grill. Just been chilling the entire weekend, although I did some work on Saturday because we had the game here, which was disappointing, and then we're back here on Monday. So just doing my thing, bro, and I'm good with that, man. I've done plenty of the partying already in my lifetime, so I'm pretty good with that. So let me ask you, do you love the potential that you might be covering a really exciting offense? Because I think you're going to see a different Tua. I think you're going to see an electrifying offense. I have a lot of hope for this Dolphin offense. I'm just wondering if you have the same kind of excitement I do about the potential of this offense.
Talent around the quarterback is decent, solid, good. I would argue, and I was listening to your tease to come into the segment, and what I love about this unit is there are a number of varying skilled receivers, and I would argue to people that 10 of these receivers that are here will probably be on NFL rosters, NFL 53-man rosters.
Amen.
The question is, you know, which 6 make it on this 53-man roster? You know, clearly, you know, a lot of people have given up on Preston Williams. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, because they didn't get a chance to see him dominate Byron Jones all training camp last year and really look like he was on the verge of going to have a Pro Bowl season until, he got off to a slow start, and then when he got hot, he got injured.
Right.
We've seen what Devontae Parker can do when healthy. That's the key word, the code word, when healthy. We know he's going to be good for about 10 games a season. And then you've added Will Fuller, and you've added Jalen Waddle, and don't forget about Lynn Bowden Jr., who I thought was a very dynamic, or has the potential to be a dynamic slot receiver, just because he has that uncanny ability of making his first guy miss on a regular basis. And I could tell you that I couldn't name the last Dolphins receiver who could do that on a regular basis. Not even Jarvis Landry was able to do that. So the question is he smart enough and capable of learning this offense and sort of fitting into what a slot receiver is in the NFL? And I think he is, considering he played quarterback.
Yeah, no, Jarvis Landry had to power through that first tackler.
Yes.
He had to break tackles is what he did. He would run through his first tackler is what he had to do. Now he couldn't make a miss, but he would run. He would break your tackle every once in a while. That's for damn sure, because he was a tough sumbitch.
Yeah, no disrespect to Jarvis. I would say Brandon Marshall had that ability if he wasn't stiff-arming people to the ground.
Right.
But yeah, come on. We haven't had I couldn't name you a receiver that makes his first guy miss. I just can't. Please, put it to your people. Like, I'd love to know a name of a receiver who can make that first guy miss. And then, Jalen Waddle is I think he is the slot receiver.
Yeah, for sure. But I think occasionally you can put him on the outside if you wanted to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to run the two tight ends in the middle and then the two guys on the outside to create all kinds of havoc. That's the beauty, that you're going to be able to move these guys around too a little bit and have different combinations. Because as the guy you just mentioned, he can come out of the backfield too as a wide receiver if you want to line him up back there, Lynn Bowden Jr.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you can get really
really
creative with this offense and the guys. That's why I'm so as we say in the crypto world, I am bullish on this Heat offense. I mean, on this Dolphin offense this year. I love that. Now let me ask you this, because we've been, this one's been bounced around a little bit, and I'm not a big proponent of using this kid too much there, but I know you're going to have to use him some. Waddle as a returner. If early on you don't have a major role in the offense, then I can understand using you as a returner. But if you have a major role and you're the full-time slot guy and you're playing 70, 80 times, a percentage in the offense, I want you occasionally returning. I don't want to put the burden on that young man of being a full-time returner and pretty much a full-time receiver. I think that's a little too much, especially for a rookie.
I think the way that they handle rookies, what this regime has done, with the exception of offensive linemen, they put a little bit on your plate, and when you show them that you can eat up that little bit and it's no issue, then they put a little bit more on your plate. I really don't see Jalen. One, I don't think he's fully healthy, and that's the one thing that OTAs taught me. I had even forgotten that this kid missed most of his season and rushed back to play in the national championship game. He's not healthy. When I look at Jalen Waddle, he is the fastest player on the football field, and he's not that player right now. He's not cutting like that right now. So I think it might be a little bit of a time before we get to see him, maybe sometime in September, maybe sometime in October. But that injury, and I really underplayed it, because the fact that he's not healthy right now means this is way more serious than I thought it was. But I don't see any reason why he can't be a returner, because they don't put a lot on a rookie's plate. And if they feel like they can, I think Lynn Bowden can handle the kickoff.
But wait a minute, but didn't you kind of answer your question there? If he's coming off an injury, do you want to put that much more of a burden on his body and that ankle in his first season? You know what I'm saying?
You make an excellent point, and now that you're saying that, now I think Jakeem Grant might be around for at least the first portion of the season. Thanks for spoiling that for me. So I guess we're keeping 7 receivers now. Lynn Bowden. I'm wondering if he can handle punts and kickoffs too.
But dude, you can't. He's not Jakeem Grant. Jakeem Grant is one of the 3 or 4 best returners in the NFL, dude. I don't think.
If you say so.
Yeah, he is. Come on, Omar. You got to compartmentalize, baby. Separate Jakeem the receiver and Jakeem the returner. Jakeem the returner is exceptional. Jakeem the returner doesn't have the fumble issues he has as Jakeem the receiver. So really, he excels in that area. And I think he'll excel even more if you actually limit his participation as a receiver and leave him full-time as a returner, because his body will hold up more. He'll be more focused on what he has to do. And what you could do, what you could do on offense is use him 4 or 5 times where he's more of a decoy. Listen to me. Where he's more of a decoy because you're putting another speedster on the field, and then the defense has to worry about it, and then all of a sudden you open it up even more for Waddle and for Fuller. That's all I'm saying. You can actually add it kind of like a decoy thing that could really scare the crap out of the defense when you put those 3 on the field.
Okay, who are you taking off the field for Jakeem Grant?
You might take out the running back, is what I'm saying. On a 3rd and long is what I'm saying. Those kind of things.
If I'm taking the running back off the field, I'm putting Lynn Bowden in, and I'm having him come out the backfield.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a high opinion for Jakeem.
I get that. But I'm asking you to compartmentalize here. That's all I'm asking you.
I don't. The way the rules have changed, I don't see that much value in returners anymore. It's not like you're returning kickoffs. Punts, maybe you'll get 25, 30 opportunities a season. And Jakeem has broken some for touchdowns.
More than most. Don't say some. Say more than most. Okay.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay.
All right. He's a great returner. He's the greatest returner in Dolphins
I didn't say that. I didn't say. I just said he's a great returner.
He is. He is. He scored more touchdowns than any other returner in Dolphins franchise history.
That's actually true. That's right. And by the way, and more limited rules than pass returners and the past in the NFL.
That's true. That's a great point. I don't believe in gimmick players, and I just don't. And I would hate to keep a roster spot. Not to say that the hotel is full. But I would hate to keep a roster spot for just a returner. But if he's here, more props to him, and congratulations on getting your $3.5 million.
Hey, Mel Gray, bro, he was a returner. You know what I mean? It just sometimes you do keep it for one returner. It's one of those guys that's so special that he changes field position for you or can score. That's all I'm saying. But going back to our point on Waddle. That's where I'm, because most people are like, oh, no, you put him as a returner. And it's like, you know what, dude, I don't know. I don't know if I want to burn the kid out so fast that way. I'm not sure about that.
I don't, with the weaponry that they have, I don't really see him playing more than 30 offensive snaps a game. And I know everybody's like, oh, he's our first-round pick. Oh, he's super dynamic. Oh, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. How could you say that? And I'm like, well, what veteran are you taking off the field to put Jalen Waddle, a young, inexperienced receiver who probably doesn't even know how to make route adjustments or read defenses? Like, what receiver are you taking off the field? And everybody's going to say, take Devontae Parker off the field, and that's great. That's good. Take Preston Williams off the field. That's great. That's good. I need to see Jalen Waddle be the type of scary wide receiver that he has the potential to be before I do all that.
All right, quickly before I let you go, Malik Hooker. Reports are saying Cowboys are Finns. Is it really down to that? Because then I'm thinking, okay, you want money, go to the Cowboys. You want to win, you come to the Finns. I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, I definitely sign with the Dallas Cowboys if I were him, because the way they talk about Malik Hooker, the way they talk about Javon Holland, I think this kid's supposed to be the next best thing since sliced bread. He's going to reinvent football the way that this coaching staff talks about him, and I haven't seen him really play, so I'm going to hold a little bit of reserve on that one. But I really think the in is full here at safety, especially if Jason McCourty is going to play safety instead of cornerback, and they did discuss him as a safety.
Yeah, you're right about that. Melvin, what's going on with Ingram? 7 days ago, he came in for a workout. We haven't heard Jack. What have you heard?
I think that's just a look-see, see where he is from a medical standpoint. I think it's something that's definitely being considered. That's probably a decision that's going to come right at the end, right before training camp begins. Right before training camp begins, they add a couple of receivers, they add a couple of pass rushers, they might add a running back, they'll add some offensive linemen. They'll reassess where they are as a team and sort of make some adjustments. But Melvin Ingram, he's definitely a signing that I would do, because I think that if you added that type of pass rushing threat, if he's still the player he has the potential to be or has been in throughout the history of his career, I think you'll have a complete defense without any weaknesses.
All right, whether it makes sense or clearly it doesn't make sense, every Dolph fan in the world, and the Heat fans also have this drug. They want to sign or trade for everybody that becomes available. Can you just tell them already that Julio Jones makes no sense for the Dolphins right now? Would they stop? Can you stop with that already? What's your opinion on this?
One, he's super expensive. Two, you'd have to give up draft assets. Three, I just don't, it's a short-term situation where if you were a title contender, like let's say Seattle, it would make sense. It would make sense for 2 years to make that kind of investment and commitment.
Amen.
But you're building with youth. Julio won't be here by the time Tua is good. So what are you doing?
Yeah. By the way, Tua will be good this year. Just want you to know.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
He's balling this year. He's balling this year.
I wanna believe you, bro.
30 TDs this year. 30 TDs.
That's good. I will say this. At this point, my biggest concern about Tua is his arm strength.
And I've got zero concern on that. Zero.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right.
You're going to see that. You're going to see that core is healthy now.
Yeah,
it's strong. Yeah. You're going to see him slinging the rock all over the place this year, baby.
He was never slinging the rock at Alabama. That wasn't the strength of his game. But right now, I just went back and I started looking at some cut-ups just because I was trying to assess where they were at certain positions, and I was watching Bowden Jr. cut-ups and all those short throws, those balls were wobbly, and I was just like, I didn't even realize or pay attention during the season, and it just had me super concerned. And then go to OTAs, and the balls are wobbly, and I'm thinking to myself, man, let's just hope this is a hip issue and it improves, because the last thing we can afford to do is have his arm fade on him.
Yeah, he'll be fine, bro. He'll be fine.
Don't
add that dramatic sensationalism to it, all right? He'll be fine.
Oh, come on, Big O. You know I don't do sensationalism. I said, here's the thing. When I first saw Tua, because remember how excited I was about Tua? When I first saw him in training camp last year, my lasting impression was, yo, that arm isn't what I thought it was. And yes, it's good enough now, but my hope is that it gets better, because we're coming off that hip injury, and I understand. And he talked a lot about it. He was throwing with all arm last year, and probably by the time the season wound down, which is when I'm really talking about, because we know Bowden didn't play until later on in the season. His arm was on fumes, and Ryan Fitzpatrick had the same issue where his arm only lasted for so many throws per season. I'm sure he's going to have that same issue in Washington, but we can't be doing a pitch count in the early stages of your career. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly, and, of course, catch him all throughout the week with the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. As always, you're a stud. Thank you for taking some time, my man.
Always a pleasure.
All right, there you go. The great Omar Kelly, baby, from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. I'm telling you, 30-plus touchdowns for Tua. Mark it down. Save this audio if you want there. Alex, that's fine. You'll replay it at the end of the year when he's like at 33 or 35 or 37 or 40 touchdowns. I told you, 30-plus, baby. He's going to be balling this year. People are going to be freaking out, and a lot of people are going to be proven wrong about Tua. You'll see. All right, you know what? 1 hour is down. We got another one to go. Alan Poupar will join us at 1:30 to talk a little more Dolphins with him. We can never talk enough Dolphins. I'm just saying. On this show, never enough Dolphins. But I've got a bunch of other things that I want to get into over the next half hour before we get to Alan Poupar. The great Alex Aguirre driving the program. Oh, man, it's so good to be back. Hour number 2 is next.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. From additions to home remodeling, call Eric at 305-433-4843. Count on a company that's an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. EJDconstruction.com. Welcome to OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. No station in South Florida provides more live and local sports talk.
This is like rock and roll with no music.
Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
This Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard will be broadcasting live from Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world. Stout features Clonakilty whiskeys, the world's best Irish whiskey. So come on out this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Red Card Radio live from Stout Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. If you're up for a challenge, you should take their famous boot tour. Finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. We'll see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
When you want local sports, 1260 WLESPN.
We're live and local.
Yes, what she said.
Well, it's what they wrote.
Look at it this way, honey.
Oh, no, here we go.
At some point, this was all live, and wherever it came from, it was local there.
You get that look whenever you stretch the truth or when you need your laxative.
Ain't it awful? South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inner Miami Marketing, LLC. Now streaming online. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Time to get in the zone. The Onside Zone.
And look, man, I don't care if you're my wife. If I don't agree with you, I'm going to say it.
The Onside Zone.
I don't care how you win a championship, dude. You can draft it, you can buy it, you can trade for it. Just win, baby.
The Onside Zone.
You're not Aladdin rubbing the lamp and then Will Smith comes out and you ask him, hey, fix our Dolphin problems. And there he goes. No, I'm sorry. It'd be nice if it was that easy, but it's not.
You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. The Onside Zone with a big O.
All right.
Yeah, I think so. But also what I'm a believer in,
and I won't change. My non-negotiables is that ultimately the buck stops with me. The buck stops with me in terms of sort of like, that is my team out there. We play together, we win and lose together. And ultimately, this moment in time, we are suffering. We're suffering a lot, and we're frustrated. We're frustrated with what is happened in the last 3 or 4 games. But ultimately, now's not the time, 9 games into the season, to start pointing fingers at individuals. We've got to be better as a collective unit. We've got to make sure that we play better. And that's the way it has to be. That's where the good teams are. That's where you develop championship winning teams, is by creating a culture of everybody taking accountability. I saw that this week in the meetings that we've had with the players, and it's no different tonight. You know, I'm not going to stand out here and have a go at anyone. The biggest thing we have to do is collectively together.
All right, it's hour number 2. That is head coach Phil Neville, as Inter Miami lost over the weekend to DC United 3-0. I'll get to some basketball. I want to get into a little Dolphins talk, a little NFL talk in just a minute here. But coming off of that soundbite, a really tough outing. And listen, as I've mentioned before, Coach Neville inherited most of his team. He's going to have to kind of reshape it over the next couple of years. They've got a lot of tough decisions that they've got to make, and they've got to figure some stuff up by the end of this season and make those kind of changes, whether it's Pizarro, does he stay or does he go? How much can you take a hit? Do you try to find another elite DP? And obviously after the decision and the fines, you now have a more limited cap number because you've lost a couple of $1 million in the process. So, you know, Miami's been hurt by the penalties over the next couple of years. So that will make it that much harder to kind of get out of this expansion start here for Inter Miami. I got to tell you, Phil Neville's got a really difficult job right now because they don't have strong midfield play. They don't have speed. They don't have an elite goalie. And maybe Marsman, when he gets in at the goalkeeper spot, he can strengthen that up. And then the back line on defense has just not played up to snuff. So they've got a lot of things to fix, and I don't know how Neville does it, to be honest with you. I don't know. He's got to be a magician in order to figure this entire stuff up. So we'll see what happens with Inter down the line. The good thing is they get a couple of weeks off till they have to go visit DC United, and then they'll hopefully bounce back at Audi Field. And, of course, we'll have the game for you here at Onside Radio. All right, so a bunch of things to talk about. First of all, anybody saw the Friends reunion? I watched it over the weekend. I enjoyed it, actually, on HBO Max. It was watched by 29% of the U.S. streaming households. That's an enormous number, dude. That's pretty amazing. But it was good. It was good. It was good. Are you much of a Friends guy? Did you watch any of that stuff?
Yeah, I saw the reunion. I liked Friends. I saw it once. I don't really go back and watch it. I don't like. I get the hype around it, why it was so successful. But I'm more of a Seinfeld person. If I'm gonna pick a show from the '90s, Seinfeld's my go-to. I can watch that anytime, any day.
Yeah. This was like a 90s into the 2000s type show. Mm-hmm. So 94 to 2004. I will say this, I'm a big Jennifer Aniston fan.
Yeah.
And she still looks pretty good.
Yeah,
but, she lost some culo.
For like a surgery or something?
No, it wasn't surgery. It just she got older. But if you watch that show, just watch the reunion. When they show highlights of her, and they show her even in a dress, she's got a nice bump. She lost her bump, dude. In those jeans, she had no bootay, practically.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell you.
Well,
sucks.
see, that's all right. You probably have a girlfriend. You're afraid of getting in trouble and all that kind of stuff. Me, I'm just I'm a renegade, as they say. But I was a big Jennifer Aniston fan. I gotta say, she lost some culo, man. Damn. That was kind of the disappointing part of the
Courtney Cox, you can definitely tell she had some work done on her face right before the reunion. You think? Yeah.
You think? She looked good too, by the way.
No, they're all pretty. They're all good-looking people.
Yeah. And Phoebe looks good too. So yeah, no doubt. By the way, don't forget to give us a thumbs up while you're watching on the tube, okay? But I did enjoy it. I will say this. I love the show Friends. I did enjoy the reunion thoroughly, bro. Okay? Although I feel bad for Chandler.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah, bro. Something, obviously.
Something's a little funky with him.
Yeah, no, you could tell the liquor and the drugs and all that stuff really took a toll on him, dude.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he was one of the he was the wittiest guy out of the group.
The smartass, yeah.
Yeah, and wow, he lost so much of who he was.
The pep.
And, you know, if anybody tells you that drugs and alcohol don't affect, prayers to Matthew Perry, man. He's obviously dealing with some demons, man. That was the only depressing part of it, was that, you know, that and obviously Jennifer Aniston losing some butt.
I mean, because Friends at the end of the day ended on a good note. It's a feel-good story. So everyone had a happy ending. Everyone's riding off into the sunset with their own stories and their own family. And I feel like that they didn't want to dwell on any of like the really, really sad stuff with their personal lives.
And by the way, I thought it was really, you know, I love how they attacked it when people talk about, oh, well, you're gonna have a reunion show, and no, it ends here. We're not doing that. We're not gonna unravel all the storylines, you know, because that's what Phoebe was talking about. We're not gonna do that, and the bond you can tell between all of them, and obviously the writers and everything else. I thought it was really, really cool, and then bringing back all of the other actors that kind of took part in the show throughout the years. It was done really, really well. I really enjoyed it. If you're a Friends fan, you should definitely watch it. All right, so let's see. What else do we have going on that I wanted to talk a little bit about? Oh, the UD throwing the chair situation. Let me ask you guys, was that like an act of desperation from UD to add a little drama to the whole thing? The old man that, you know, gets into it with Dwight Howard in 2 minutes of play, and gets his ass booted from a game. And then now, and I know that he's kind of like, you know, the security guard, the mentor, the leader, like inside, you know, the locker room and that, and the grandfather that they kind of look at with the titles and all that. But I kind of found it, in the end, the chair throwing, I thought it was, one, a little too late. That wasn't going to change anything about that series. Two, it was just a little over-dramatized on his part. I just kind of felt that it was, in the end, it was going to be more for show than anything else. And it was kind of, you know, in a way, I kind of laughed about it, because I'm wondering if players even took that serious, you know, or are they, how do you get nervous about a player that doesn't play? You know what I mean? A player that doesn't lead. I've been in enough locker rooms to know that players don't respond to people that aren't necessarily leading on the court, on the ice, on the field, on the pitch, whatever the hell it is that you play on. And so when I saw that chair throwing incident by Udonis, you know, I haven't been able to address it because obviously I wasn't here all last week. I only stepped in on Friday, and that's the only show I did last week. So this week we're kind of back from all of this. But that, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about the chair throwing incident, because I found it to be a very hollow move on all levels. You know what I mean? I just found it to be something that really wasn't going to make a damn bit of difference in the long run, the chair throwing incident. And so this leads us to our roundtable question of the day. And every day we ask everybody on the station a roundtable question. All right? And today's roundtable question is, which team is closer to a title, Heat or Panthers, and why does one have the easier path? And listen, I'm going to stay consistent. I said the Panthers would make a deeper run in the playoffs than the Heat, and technically I was right, because they won 2 games where the Heat won none in the first round. So, yeah, they made it to Game 6. Heat could only make it to Game 4. So I know it wasn't a round further, but it was deeper into the round. So they made a deeper run. And they made a deeper run because they are closer. Okay, both have great coaches. Both have cultures now in place because I think the Panthers kind of shaped their culture this year. And they've got to tweak their roster a little bit. There's no doubt about it. Now, everybody's got challenges. You've got all these big salaries on the Heat. You got Bob's salary now that becomes an absolute burden on the Florida Panthers because you're probably going to give Bob one more chance at the beginning of next season to earn his starting job to keep his starting job. But I would imagine that Knight will be the guy for the rest of the season if Bob has a shaky start. If Bob doesn't play well, he's not going to go back to the Dreger or Bob. He's not going to do Knight and Bob, Knight and Bob, Knight and Bob, or Bob Knight or whatever. He's not going to do that. He's going to give Bob the last opportunity and tell him, hey, Sergey, I can't go back and forth picking and choosing. I got to stick to one guy. So I'm going to give you this last opportunity. It's up to you. If you don't get it done, we got to go with the young kid and ride it and start to develop him because he's the future. How many more years are you going to give Bob? It'll be year 3. You know, remember when he first signed and he started slow? Well, he's a slow starter. Hell, I didn't know it was going to say slow start meant in years, not weeks or months. He'll get it going. He'll get it going. He's never gotten it going. So that's got to end. So you go with Knight, then you move on. But now you still need to kind of improve your defense. You still maybe need to pick up on I think with defense is more enough. I think you got enough scoring as it is. And the team's obviously got to play a little smarter too. But their path to a Stanley Cup championship is probably a little shorter than the Heat's. The Heat has a bunch of big contracts. You better not re-sign Jimmy to an extension. There are no whales coming out next year that are going to be interested. And you can tell me all you want about Kawhi Leonard. And I know I'm going to have to waste my time, kind of like when I waste my time with some of you talking about Julio Stinkin' Jones, which is just ridiculous talk for a Dolphins fan. And so I just feel like the Panthers right now have a shorter road to get to the Stanley Cup playoffs and win it than the Miami Heat do. Because the Miami Heat need a lot of things now. They got to really reshape this roster. And in a preferred world, I hate to tell you this, you'd want to do it without Jimmy Butler down the line. I know Jimmy Butler has been terrific the first 2 years, but he's not a legitimate number one guy on a team. He's a Robin. And so is Bam. You got to go find Batman, and that's not available right now. And it doesn't look like it's available anywhere. So if you're settling for Butler or you're settling for bringing back Oladipo and counting on him to stay healthy and those kind of things, then it just puts you in a position where you're hoping for too much in order to have success. And to me, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Got to be honest. Just doesn't make any sense at all. So I would say in this roundtable question that the Panthers are the team that's closer to a championship at this point in time. Hey, listen, the Panthers need the title more than the Heat. The Heat already have their culture set. Their fan base is strong. They've got the Heat zombies. They've got it all. I mean, the Heat zombies believe in anything, okay? They get suckered by anything, all right? It's not so much that they're knowledgeable, but it's more about them just believing in any desperation move to think that that's going to change. They win a game or two and they think they've turned their entire season around and they're playing great basketball. That's how good of a franchise the Miami Heat is. They've created their own zombies already at this point. Panthers don't have any zombies, neither do the Marlins, and neither do the Dolphins, and neither do the Canes anymore. But the Heat, they're the ones that have been able to develop that zombie culture. Panthers, they got a shot at developing some kind of culture in the fan base. And next year will help out. But they are closer to to their title than the Miami Heat is. That's for damn sure. Hey, every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m., catch Fight Night with Alex Dono and James Walker. It's the show dedicated to combat sports, from UFC to boxing to bare-knuckle brawling. Alex and James provide combat sports fans the insight and interviews they crave. Tune in every Thursday night from 7 to 9 p.m. for Fight Night with Alex Dono and James Walker. Search and subscribe to the podcast by searching Fight Night on the home for combat sports, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
When you're tired of watching the sun damage your furniture or raise your electric bill, it's time to do what we did here at OnsideRadio.com studio. Call A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise. A Shade Above Window Fashions has a great selection of blackout shades to choose from. We can almost create a complete blackout for your bedroom or media room. Call them at 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashion.
This Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard will be broadcasting live from Stout Bar and Grill in Oakland Park. With over 40 TVs, Stout is the home for soccer around the world. Stout features Clonakilty Whiskies, the world's best Irish whiskey. So come on out this Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Red Card Radio live from Stout Bar and Grill in Fort Lauderdale.
Riddle me this, with all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread, who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich, Papa John's.
At OnsideRadio.com, we chirp all day and night. It's time to do some more chirping with David Dwork at our Chirping the Cats report.
It was a fun season, but as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. The Panthers put up a good fight in forcing a Game 6, but that was as far as they would get, as the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning knocked out the Cats with Wednesday's 4-0 win. Rookie goaltender Spencer Knight did what he could to keep Florida in the game, stopping 20 shots, including several point-blank opportunities during the first 2 periods, but it was Tampa goalie Andrei Vasilevsky that stole the show. The likely Vezina Trophy finalist was a brick wall, stopping everything the Panthers threw his way and frustrating the Cats at every turn. Now Tampa will move on to face the winner of the Carolina-Nashville series, while Florida will head back to Sunrise, clean out their lockers, and head into the offseason wondering what could have been.
Keep up with the latest on the Florida Panthers by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio, your home for South Florida sports. If you missed Man of the Match with Alex Dono, you missed.
And this happens in a lot of food polls, right? When I put out a food discussion and I claim that one thing is better than the other, the people who are the fans of the thing that I don't like as much will always say, oh, you've never had my abuelita's tres leches. Well, no crap. I don't know your grandma. She's never invited me. I hate that argument. It's like, oh, wait, you think tiramisu is better? You've never had my abuelita's homemade tres leches. Well, until she invites me over, bro, how am I supposed to try? You've clearly never been to Florence where they have great tiramisu, so don't give me your crap. You've never had my nonna's tiramisu.
Yeah, I haven't.
And you'll never have it. She's dead.
Oh, God.
You'll never have it.
I really wanted to.
You're SOL. She didn't save the recipe. It died with her.
Oh, no.
Man of the Match with Alex Dono on South Florida's home for sports talk, OnsideRadio.com.
All righty. Alan Poupar will join us in the next segment, so we'll talk a little Miami Dolphins with him. Looking forward to that conversation. Playoffs in the NBA. I got to tell you, there's a couple things that I want to get off my chest. First of all, look, I'm not a Kyrie Irving fan. I think he's too flaky for my liking. I think the fact that he, using that word compartmentalize that I used with Omar, the fact that he can't compartmentalize what happens in the world, or maybe he just wants to use it as a crutch and an excuse for how he acts sometimes. In other words, listen, I'm not a fan of Kyrie Irving. That's all I can tell you. Not a fan of the dude, okay? I'm not telling you he can't play. I'm not telling you he's got the sickest handles probably in the league. I'm not telling you he can't score, can't shoot. I'm not going to argue any of his physical talents. They're all there. They're there for display. If you can't see them, I can't help you with that. Now, yesterday they had an idiot that was throwing a water bottle and almost hit Kyrie Irving, which, okay, is Kyrie Irving going to get knocked out in a concussion from a water bottle? No, it's going to hurt and whatever, and you're going to move on. But what about if you hit him in the eye? What about if, you do some kind of damage that you weren't, maybe you weren't intending? And by the way, when they bust the dude and you watch the security people, did you notice how he was trying to why is this like a big deal? Why can I leave, guys? Is that? And so he gets banned from TD Garden. I got something to tell you about this. Okay? I'm not telling you to throw the guy in jail, but I would do this to all these kind of people that go to sporting events. They should be banned from going to any sporting event ever again. And I'm talking about all 5 major sports. That person's picture should be floated to every team, every league, and every league needs to band together and ban these kind of idiots every single time. Not just one team, not just one league, every league. That's what these sons of bitches deserve. Okay? Look, you want to boo a player, you want to tell him he sucks, you want to tell the coach he can't coach, they should fire you, fine. That's it. That's where it ends. But when you start getting personal and you start talking about their families and you start using, disgusting and racial language or sexual language or whatever it is, then you need to be banned. And if you're throwing stuff at people or spitting on them, God forbid, you need to be banned from every sporting event in the country. It's kind of like our gun laws. We have all this gun crime going on out there. It's not about not selling the guns. It's about your gun laws. Like I've always said, you get caught with a gun and it's a gun that was used in a crime or a gun that's not yours or a gun that's illegal, they should put your ass away for 10 to 15 years. Once you start doing that to somebody, and they know that they didn't even commit a crime, but they got caught with the gun, and they're getting 10 to 15 years. You remember a hot potato? Remember that game? You ever played hot potato? No, right? You never played. You did? Okay. You had to get rid of it quickly. It's a hot potato. You wouldn't even touch the gun. No, dude, I get 15 years just for touching that thing. Just for being, no. And you commit a crime, you get 25 to life. You'll see how gun crimes go like this, right? But we don't have tough laws. People are back out on the street and committing more crimes. Oh, this is an aggravated assault, this, that, whatever. Oh, and they're back out on the street. A week later, a month later, a year later. That's our problem. Our rules aren't strong enough. So this clown that throws the bottle at Kyrie Irving, dude, ban his ass from everywhere. And watch fans like, whoa, holy crap. I'll never be able to go to any game whatsoever. They'll learn their lesson. They'll learn their lesson. It's all about the laws. It's about the rules. When they break them, they need to pay a serious price. So that way, they know to never mess with it again. Hey, no, stash this gun. You get the hell out of here, dude. I'm not touching that. I get 15 years just for touching it, just for being a part of it. No way. Get out of here. You do that, and trust me, you're going to send some serious signals to people, and they're not going to screw around anymore. But that guy to me is he's just a coward. And Kyrie Irving may not be the guy to pick, but, it's like you throw a water bottle at a player, they should be able to unleash UD on your ass to kick your ass. Something like that. And you'll see. I know we can't do that kind of stuff, but you know what you could do to that idiot? Don't ban him from just TD Garden. No, he can't come to the AAA, and he can't go to the Lakers arena, and he can't go anywhere else. Nowhere. No Target Center, no nothing. Nowhere. Not even in Sacramento. That's what you should do. That's what they deserve. So when I saw that, I was just, disgusted by all of it. All right, can I tell you something else? And I'm so guilty of this. I don't know how many of you are so guilty. But, man, I am so Team Petty. I am rooting so hard for the Suns. I mean, the other day when CP3 broke down and couldn't finish the game, I was like, oh, man, this is the problem with CP3. He always breaks down, because he has the injury history thing, and it happens to him all the damn time. And so I thought the series was over when he got injured because it's like, okay, is he going to be able to come back? And he's been able to come back and play. And yesterday the Suns defeated the Lakers 192. And then AD hurt his groin, and he went out. What did AD play? He played 19 minutes and had 6 points. He's listed as day-to-day. He's got to play. The question is, do you risk further injuring that groin? And then all of a sudden, if you lose AD for the rest of the playoffs, you're not getting to the finals, and you're not winning the title. You're not getting through the Suns without him. I mean, DeAndre Ayton had a field day against them. What was his numbers? 14 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 steals. And I got to tell you, I am rooting so hard for the Phoenix Suns. It's not funny, dude. Okay? I don't know how many of you find yourselves doing the same thing, but it's, to me, I would love for him, if I would love for the only title they have is the one that they beat the Heat while he goes to the Lakers. Because as he gets older, it becomes that much more harder for him and his team to kind of overcome all of this. Plus, AD is an injury-prone guy. So these are things that happen to AD all the time. But I got to say, man, am I rooting for the Suns in a bad way. And while I'm watching the Suns, the whole Melvin Booker and now I'm even forgetting his damn name. What's the name of the kid Winslow, Justice Winslow. That thing keeps constantly going through my mind. Because back in those days, Booker, while he could score, he wasn't really anything else on any other part of the game. Rebounding, defense, all those kind of things. To his credit, I got to give Booker a lot of credit. He has improved. Because believe it or not, the way I saw it, Justice was the better all-around player at that time. The only problem was Justice couldn't stay healthy, and, of course, he would never score ever like Devin Booker. Problem is Justice never got better. And Booker got better and better and better and made that decision of Winslow over Booker, that much worse. Because at that time, Winslow could play defense and dish out and handle, and so he was doing all-around things, but he was never going to be a scorer like Booker. And Booker has turned himself into an all-star player, and Justice Winslow is, what he is, a sack of injuries and a guy that severely underachieved in his career. A terrible pick for the Miami Heat. There's no other way of putting it. It was just a horrible decision by the Miami Heat. But I will say, while I painfully have to watch Booker over Winslow, I am rooting for the Suns to defeat the Lakers. To me, that would be just absolutely beautiful if the Suns are able to advance. And when they tied it yesterday 2-2 and AD got injured, I'm thinking, okay, this would be pretty good right here if the Suns can actually win and advance. It would be a great story because you think about it. His title in Cleveland was the fluke of the suspension and all that, and so Golden State was kind of a young team, and so that whole suspension of Draymond Green kind of threw him off, and they were able to win the title. And then the one title you get the Lakers, it's in the bubble, and Miami got injured, and that's why you got your title. if that would be kind of cool that his last 2 titles, there's kind of like circumstances that led to those titles. It's not because, oh, yeah, you were able to play him straight up and you were able to beat him straight up and all that good stuff. So there's always that this happened and that helped you. That would be cool, because if he goes to the Lakers and only ends up with that 1 title, that would be actually pretty sweet, okay? And if he gets eliminated in this round by the Suns, I got to tell you, I think I'm going to pop a champagne bottle when it's all said and done. All right, enough of the Team Petty stuff. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Alan Poupar from Sports Illustrated is going to join us. He covers the Dolphins on a daily basis. I've got several questions for him. We will address those questions. We do that next. And don't forget that Inter Miami fans, you can join us for every road game as we broadcast live from Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano. You can join me and Alex Dono, enjoy the delicious food, incredible house drafts, and giveaways. Inter Miami fans, your new home for every road game is Dangerous Minds Brewing Company in Pompano. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing.
We'll be right back to the Big O Show. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Download the Radio.net app and listen to Onside Radio on every Inter Miami CF game. OnsideRadio.com, your home for Inter Miami soccer.
Howdy, stranger.
Didn't this used to be Radio Town?
Yes, sir. It was Miami Sports Radio Town one time.
Who in the hell are these cowboys I never saw?
We don't know who these people are, riding in from other towns. There used to be a host in every one of these saloons, trying to talk about local matters, sports.
That ain't good, stranger. Could you tell me how this happened?
Well, it started when one corporation bought another, and they got rid of the good management and brought in a bunch of bumbling idiots and started firing all the local ranchers and replacing them one by one with these strangers from out of town.
I've heard that story before. Static and tumbleweeds, I'm moving on.
South Florida's choice for sports talk. OnsideRadio.com. Listen to every Inter Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra. OnsideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app.
Floridians must prepare for sweltering heat, summer rainy seasons, and aggressive nature. And of course, hurricane season. That's why when it comes to protection, make sure your roof is prepared for the same brutal weather by calling Chase Roofing and Contracting. Open 24/7. Call them today. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and even Orlando. Go to chaseroofing.com. Chaseroofing.com provides roof inspections for both residential and commercial roofs. Get a free no-obligation roof evaluation. Trust chaseroofing.com to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
It was an unfortunate Memorial Day weekend for South Florida sports fans as the Miami Heat were eliminated from the NBA playoffs on Saturday after a 120-103 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. Inter Miami CF lost 3-0 in front of a full-capacity crowd at Drive Pink Stadium on Saturday night. They are off until June 19th, where they will travel to play DC United. And the Miami Marlins game was postponed yesterday in Boston. They are off today, and they will head to Toronto to take on the Blue Jays in their temporary home field in Buffalo. You are listening to the only locally owned South Florida sports talk station, OnsideRadio.com.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes. wings. Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
When you want a perfectly straight smile without braces, you can count on MoodyAssDental.com. A stunning smile is within reach. Learn more about Invisalign. Find out why so many trust the Moody Ass family. Dr. Moody Ass is an inventor and has several patents on innovative surgical instruments that are used around the world. Experience a family environment and trust on a worldwide level. From implants to crowns to a beautiful Invisalign smile. Call 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Or go to the website at MoodyAssDental.com.
Rosendo on YouTube says, I can never understand people spending so much money on sporting events and being tossed out. I'm with you, dude. You know, that idiot throwing the water bottle, I don't get it. Now you get embarrassed nationally because everybody knows, everybody saw it. You get arrested and you get banned. It's like when I go to a concert, and I've gone over 1,000 concerts in my lifetime. Okay, I love going to concerts. I never understood the dude that is so wasted that he can't enjoy the show. He's just throwing up in a cup or whatever. He's just flopped over on his chair. And you're not enjoying anything, dude. You're not watching anything. You don't even know what the hell happened. It's like when I had surgery last week and they put me under, and I had no idea they could have done anything to me. And I woke up and it's like, I'm done? Oh, okay. And it's like the weirdest feeling. That's the same guy. Like, what are you going to a concert wasted for? Why? Dude, you want to get a little buzz? Cool. But you want to get wasted out of your mind? Why are you going to a concert? You're going to go to a sporting event and you're going to be throwing a water bottle at somebody? That's nuts. All right, let's bring Alan Poupar on, of course. Sports Illustrated covers the Dolphins on a daily basis. Alan, let me tell you, I said this before you came on. With the idiot that threw the water bottle at Kyrie Irving, not only should he get arrested, not only should he get banned from TD Garden, I think any of these kind of idiots should be banned from every arena and stadium, and they're not allowed to go to any of the 5 major sports anymore from here on out. How about that? What do you think about that one?
Right with you, my man. I don't know how easily you can enforce that because you can always have a buddy buy a ticket for him, but completely agree with you. And here's the thing, too, is how miserable must your life be that you feel the need to do that at a sporting event?
What a great point. What a great point. Wow. You're right. You're that frustrated you're going to throw a water bottle at a dude. I mean, it's just like, and when you start saying disgusting things to people, like what happened to John Morant's family and all of that, man, these are things that I look, you want to boo them, you want to say you suck, fire them, fine, whatever, but let's go, man. There's a line. Don't cross it, man. I don't get that. All right, Alan. So
it's just gross.
Yeah, it is. It is. I would ban him from all sporting events. Face recognition, that's come. You and I know that's coming to sporting events anyways. So, that's maybe already in play right now, face recognition. So that kind of stuff could easily be implemented before you know it. As you're coming through, they're going to be able to take your picture and know exactly who the hell you are and all of that. And that's coming for sure, dude, because of security purposes, down the line. With all the craziness that's going on. All right, let's get to a little sports here. First of all, what the hell are you hearing about Malik Hooker or Melvin Ingram? Are they going to become Dolphins? Are you hearing anything? What's your gut telling you?
Well, I would tell you Malik Hooker, that ship has sailed once they signed Jason McCourty, who can play safety, even though he's played more cornerback in his career than he has played safety. He can play safety. I don't see any way you sign Malik Hooker after you brought in Jason McCourty.
Makes sense.
So that's where I stand with that one. Ingram, I think it was a fact-finding mission. Protect themselves. They got a situation with Emmanuel Ogbah coming up that he's heading into his contract year. if he's like any other normal breathing NFL player, he's heading into a contract. I'm sure he'd love to get a contract extension sooner rather than later. Ideally, you don't project any problem in that area, but it's always nice to know that you can have Melvin Ingram at the ready in case something happens and a need arises in a situation like that for an edge defender. Or they may decide at some point, after looking at what they have, wouldn't hurt to have another guy if, again, his contract demands are reasonable because he's not getting any younger. Didn't have a good year last year. He had no sacks. He did have some pressures, but he didn't have a sack. So maybe may not be the Melvin Ingram you were getting 4 or 5 years ago. So if he's going to be asking for too much money, then that ship has sailed as well.
All right, minicamp just came and went. So, and listen, I know you don't learn a ton from minicamp. In fact, for me, minicamp is mainly more for rookies and free agents so they can go through the plays and mentally they can run the plays that they're going to practice down the line. And it's more for reps and those kind of things for me personally. So what were the other things that you were able to assess, like maybe Tua's health, Waddle's health, how they looked, those kind of things? Talk to us a little bit about what you were able to see on the health side in minicamp.
Well, no, here's the thing. What we saw was an OTA. The minicamp.
OTAs, whatever. I'm sorry.
15,
yes.
16, 17. Yeah, and it was one practice, and it was – I've been doing this for over 30 years. It was the least eventful practice I have ever seen in my life. So for me to be able to tell you anything whatsoever would be pure BS because they were going like half speed. It was offense on one side, defense on another side, going through plays. It looked like an installation session or a walkthrough. They did nothing. The passes were pretty much thrown at half speed with assistant coaches or other personnel covering the players, shadowing the players as they're running the route. I mean, there was absolutely nothing to glean from that. I wish I could tell you. I mean, yeah, Tua has a beard. Do you want me to tell you how Tua looked? He has a beard. And he was wearing a hoodie. And he does look a little bit thicker. I know somebody asked me on Twitter, does Waddle look much affected by the ankle injury he had last year? I couldn't tell you because nobody was running full speed.
Right.
So there was absolutely nothing to glean from it.
Okay. All right. Very interesting. The other thing that I would ask you is when we look at what are you expecting from Tua this year? Because I'm expecting a different player. Are you expecting a different player because he was able to actually work on football in his body this year?
I have nothing but questions when it comes to Tua, if I'm going to be honest with you. Logically, you expect him to be better than last year, if for no other reason than it's from year one to year two, and there's the learning curve obviously comes into play, so he should be better. What kind of jump? Who knows? I mean, again, everything that happens, everything that is said just brings up more questions. Last week we had this famous statement, I didn't know the playbook very, very well. Well, okay, questions. Why didn't he know the playbook better than that? Because I reached out to my colleagues in San Diego and Cincinnati. Guess what? There was never any kind of those issues with Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow. So that's number one. Number two, both who was it? Miles Gaskin made the comment last week or 2 weeks ago. The playbook is very different than what it was last year. Okay, so then where does that leave Tua if he has to learn?
Wait a minute. Hold on, but let's backtrack a little bit on that. Herbert and Burrow were both starters, so they were able to run the plays right from the get-go, so they had an opportunity to kind of learn it because they had to run the offense, where this kid was the backup, and he wasn't really on the first team. It was Fitz doing everything, so it's harder for him to learn taking a back seat than it is for Herbert or Burrow, who are actually practicing and playing as the number one guy.
Yeah, Jesus, no, sorry.
No? Are you serious?
No, I'm totally serious.
He has no he has no physical reps. He's not getting the same reps.
Mental reps. Guess what? There is no offseason, no OTAs for any of them. So none of them got physical reps in the offseason. So now we're talking about training. Now we're talking only about training camp, and you hear players talk about constantly mental reps. Okay, if we're going to say that Tua did not learn the playbook strictly because he didn't start the season as a starter, sorry, I'm not on board with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not on board with that. I don't think that flies. So, again, I just have a lot of questions. Like I said, logically, he should be better than he was last year, again, because of the learning curve. The hope, obviously, is that he has mastered the playbook and he can do checks, alerts at the line of scrimmage and all of that. But I don't know. For me to tell you right now that absolutely slam dunk he's going to be a stud, I don't think that's realistic. Say that we can say that with certainty. We just don't know.
Right. And notice now this offseason he's been able to throw with his teammates and those kind of things. So he's been able to study the playbook that they gave him now. So he's feeling a little bit more comfortable because he's actually able to play football and actually go through the reps physically through all of that. It's kind of you could talk about mental, but if you're not doing it physically, it's harder to remember. And it's more muscle memory when you're able to go through all of that kind of stuff than imagining all of that stuff. That's a lot harder, my friend.
Oh, yeah, maybe, but you're not talking about a kid who's never played football before. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's, he's like, this is like the 5th overall pick in the draft, who one would think would be able to know how to study a playbook and all that. Not only that, if we don't think that Ryan Fitzpatrick wouldn't have been available to him anytime to teach him and help him learn the playbook, okay, and I'm going to bring up another question. If his knowledge of the playbook was so limited, then why was he put into the lineup when he wasn't after 6 weeks of the regular season? So again, to me, every time I hear comments and there's talk about Tua, it just raises more questions and more questions and more questions. And obviously, we could have definitive answers in the fall. Tua comes out, he completely balls out, and there's no more questions, and then we're all set. But until that happens, yeah, I'm filled with questions.
All right. The offensive line, what did you again, you can't see anything there, but who did they line up as the starting 5?
Can't tell you that. We had per the media policy, we're not allowed to divulge that information. And on top of that, not everybody was there. So okay. I could tell you, but then they'd kill me, and I'd have to kill you, or something like that. But I can tell you that what I can tell you is DJ Fluker wasn't in attendance, and who knows how he factors into the equation. So even if I were to tell you, again, who knows where DJ Fluker factors into the equation, because I do believe, given his experience, that he factors into the battle for a starting job.
Yeah, right tackle, you think, right? You think they might start him and then ease in Eichenberg or whatever, or you think he'll battle at guard?
I would think the more logical move was to let him line up at right tackle, see if he takes a hold of that job, and then ease in Eichenberg, as you mentioned, because if we're looking at the other positions, do we really necessarily want, is that totally ideal to have second-year Austin Jackson, second-year Solomon Kinley, second-year Robert Hunt, rookie Liam Eichenberg, and Matt Skura as a starting center? Or is it better to have some sort of element of more experience, more veteran presence with either DJ Fluker or Jesse Davis?
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, you'd love to start Fluker and then ease in Eichenberg. If Eichenberg's starting, then that means he's kicking some serious ass right from the get-go and making an incredible impact, which, by the way, nothing wrong with that either, right? I mean, you really can't lose either way as long as Eichenberg is making progress one way or another, straight up as a starter or easing him in as the guy that eventually takes over.
No question. And I talked to my SI colleague who does the Notre Dame site, who was a former college player who has a lot of experience, and so who knows what he's supposed to look like, and he's covered the Irish for a long time. And what he told me is that Eichenberg could start right now. The one thing about Eichenberg is his ceiling is not, he told me very specifically, don't look, he's not going to become Quentin Nelson. He's not going to become Ronnie Stanley. He's not going to become, there was a third one he mentioned, whose name escapes me right now, but he's not, Zach Martin. He's not that kind of talent. but he could start right away and not cause you serious problems.
Okay. All right. Running back. There's been some talk that maybe they still might do something in free agency. What the hell is out there, if there's anything out there, for them to kind of maybe use as an option?
Well, Le'Veon Bell is kind of the one who kind of jumps out. Again, the money being right, the circumstances being right, and what tells you that, no, they're not done looking is the fact they put in a waiver claim on Kerryon Johnson after he was released by the Lions and were beaten to it by the Eagles. So if they were truly 100% comfortable with what they had, why would they put in that waiver claim? So, yes, I would think if something happens, there also, if for some reason there's another veteran who becomes available on the market, I'm sure they would absolutely explore and evaluate everything. But right now, there's not a lot. Todd Gurley is out there, but he's not the same back he once was. I know he visited the Lions over the weekend, or there's maybe some talk that might be where he's headed. But no, there's not a ton of great options right now. I wouldn't necessarily rule out Le'Veon Bell as somebody the Dolphins might consider at some point, but who knows at that point.
Alan Poupar, of course, does an excellent job of covering the Miami Dolphins for Sports Illustrated. Make sure you follow him on Twitter like I and many others do at Poupar NFL. Before I let you go, as you know, Dolph fans have this drug that they want to actually sign and trade for every player that becomes available. So how many of the Julio Jones questions have you had so far in the last week?
Not a single one, actually.
Really?
I think that ship is... No, I think...
So you got smart Dolphin fans following you? Is that the deal?
It's like, my God, how many wide receivers do they need? Look at their wide receiver core. Right now, it's not only do they have, like, high-end players, I mean, it's like a really damn good wide receiver core. And they're going to get to the cuts or get to the summer. I mean, Preston Williams, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Allen Hurns, Albert Wilson, Lynn Bowden Jr., Jakeem Grant. I mean, at some point, something's got to give. I mean, I didn't feel heading into the offseason, I know everybody was going nuts about what a big need it was. I actually thought the wide receiver core heading into the offseason was much better than fans were giving it credit for. And then you tack on Will Fuller and you tack on Jalen Waddle. I think they're perfectly fine at wide receiver.
I'm with you, dude. I actually like their wide receiving core. They're going to actually cut some guys that probably will latch on to some other teams when it's all said and done. I think they got a pretty damn deep wide receiving core and versatile wide receiving core.
Oh, no question. And then in addition to the guys I mentioned, well, I'm not even talking about guys who might make the team strictly because of what they do on special teams, namely Mac Hollins, and then Robert Foster, who they signed in the offseason, who's a guy who was a gunner in his previous stops, which has value to the Dolphins. So no question there's going to be a couple of Dolphin wide receivers who will be let go and latch on with other teams.
Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. What are you working on at Sports Illustrated so Dolphins can check you out, my man?
Well, today I actually did a retrospective of May with the 10 biggest stories of the month. Maybe later on I'll be setting up the stage for the month of June, which includes the remainder of the OTAs and that mandatory minicamp June 15th through the 17th.
There you go. Alan, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy your Memorial Day, my friend. Appreciate you.
Well, right back at you, bud.
You got it. There you go, Alan Poupart. Good stuff there. Can never talk enough Miami Dolphins. By the way, congratulations to Helio Castroneves winning the Indy 500 for the fourth time. If I didn't mention it, and get some water here. If I didn't mention it, Alex would get mad at me because he's a big Indy kart guy. One more thing before I let you guys go. That's why Doc wants me to keep it 2 hours. Anyway. And we had a couple guests. For those of you out there that follow crypto, and remember, this time now is a consolidation period. This isn't a crash. It's a consolidation period. Again, not a financial advisor. Just want to say, because a lot of people predicted like a bloody Sunday, bloody Monday, or whatever. because of the futures and the contracts that came up here at the end of the month. But listen, if you could take advantage, if you can invest what you can, stay with it. Do not sell at a lower price to lose money because you're panicking. That's what the whales want. That's what the big corporations want. Goldman Sachs a year ago, and I put the tweet out, said Bitcoin is not an asset. This past week, they just said crypto is an asset. So in a year, they changed their mind. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate the market, lower the price, scare you into selling your stuff, and then they're going to swoop in and buy it at a lower price. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the FUD. All right? We thank Omar Kelly. We thank Alan Poupart. Alex, as always, great work by you. Damn it, man. Got kind of rough here at the end. Anyway, thank you, Alex. We thank all of you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Alex Dono will come up at 3 o'clock, and Steven will do his thing from 6 to 7. Y'all be good.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of Onside Radio ownership, management, sponsors, website, or Inter Miami Marketing, LLC. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying